So I just came back from the UK. Now, this was my very first time visiting the country in nearly 9 years. I have family living in the UK, more of my mom's side. And me and my buddy Dante wanted to go to London. Now, we weren't sure if we're going to actually pull through London because getting to London is not what it used to be 15 years ago. I was kind of shocked and very disappointed when I found out how expensive it is just to get overseas to the UK from the Netherlands. 250 just to get there. London is very, very different than Amsterdam. If I had to choose between which one, Amsterdam. And that's not got to necessarily do with the fact that marijuana is decriminalized. It's just got to do with the fact that I like Amsterdam more. I'm very sorry that I got to say this, but what the fuck has happened to the UK the past 10 years that I haven't been there? What has happened to your guys' country? Like, I'm seriously sitting here right now. I'm asking you this question. If you're from the UK, what have you guys done to your country? Like a serious question. Upon arrival in London, the trip was phenomenal. Fantastic. Really, really nice on the train. This was my very first time ever taking a train or the Eurostar or Thalys to any country. Upon arrival, the Metropolitan is beautiful. It really is. The metro stations and the network and the public transportation in the UK or London, I must say, is very, very good. Very good. Probably better than by us. But it's also kind of unfair because London is fucking massive, bro, compared to Rotterdam and Amsterdam. There's very too little any comparison you could really make. London is like 50 times bigger than this country, so I should probably stop comparing Amsterdam with like London because it's a very unrealistic image as well. And unfortunately, due to the fact that there are so many different cultures, it has a massive impact on the country itself and on the place London itself. Now, we can obviously get into that, but you know what? I'll stick to my opinion for myself because if I say my honest opinion, it might piss off and offend a lot of people, which is not necessarily what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to voice my opinion to a certain degree, you know? It's very old, London. Or the UK, I can say kind of in general. Some would even probably say that England is maybe behind, but I don't really agree with that, to be very honest, because they've got a lot of electric cars. They've got a lot of good stores. The roads are actually very good in London. Now, I don't know if the rest of the UK is good with roads, but London was phenomenal. There were no potholes. Obviously, the UK does not have psychopaths, which is so fucking unusual. Comparing it to the Netherlands, it's so funny. Like, we're such a tiny goddamn country, yet we have everything organized to the bone. We Dutch people know how to do shit. I'm not saying the British don't. I'm just saying for a country that size, it's just kind of bizarre how big your roads are, but there's no psychopaths in most places. I did like London somewhat. I'm not gonna shit on London completely. I did like it. The pubs were fantastic. The nightlife was amazing as well. Now, it wasn't the same as Milano. My preference is still Milano till this day. Very, very, very awesome. You can kind of compare them to countries that are in 2024, but somewhat still living in the past. If that makes any sense. I don't know how to really explain it very good to you, but London is very old, image-wise, right? And that's what I definitely love about London is the fact that the buildings tell history. It's nice. The only thing that I'm going to say is when you're in London that really fucking sucks is the prices of hotels. Yeah, you're not going to find much or like anything for like a good price. We were very fortunate that we found a place for 3 nights for 130 quid. It was a tiny ass room. It was like 1/3 of this room that I'm in right now. I'm in an entire apartment, by the way, right now, just to let you know. Size comparison, it was a closet pretty much. But you know what? For London, that's decent if you're just trying to sleep. Let's talk about the food. Now, what is that to say? The British, for some reason, love everything deep fried. They're like the Americans at this point. They love unhealthy shit. Like, you go to any place, it's all unhealthy crap. It is so difficult and hard to find a place that sells non-deep fried food for a good, decent price. Now, obviously, just like Amsterdam, you're going to pay tourist price. You know, you think this goddamn tattoo was cheap? No. But you see, I've been told by people that what I paid was a ripoff. But I'm also like, I'm in the most busiest place in the country, highly likely. I'm in the fucking center of the city. People have to pay their rent. People have to pay their mortgage. I'm paying someone for being expertized in a job that I can't do. I don't know how to. So I'm like, I'd rather pay a bit more and have someone do my stuff professional than doing it cheap and getting infections and all this other stuff. Food was, it was okay. I had a pizza. That was fire. It's gonna sound very weird, but I had Chipotle. I don't even think that's English on its own. I think it's pretty much American. Yeah, Chipotle was fucking fire, bro. I really loved it. Now, here's the thing in the Netherlands. I don't know if you've got the same issue where you're from. Finding a good place that sells like really big sized portion burritos or just burritos in general is so difficult. Taco Bell shit, bro. I don't know about you guys, but the Taco Bell, at least that I've been to twice, is very mid. And kind of disappointing for the price because it's like they don't fill up your food and it just doesn't taste fresh. But Chipotle in the UK was something else. They had something called Wingstop as well. I didn't know what it was. I was like, what is this? Apparently it's a chicken joint. Now the British absolutely love their chicken. You guys love that shit, don't you, huh? Yeah, I know. I know you're watching this shit. You're probably eating a KFC as I'm speaking right now, huh? Activities were phenomenal. See, that's the great thing about London because it's super busy 24/7. There's stuff to do all the time. The public transportation is phenomenal. There is taxis all over the fucking place. If I lived in London, I kind of wouldn't see the point of having a car. It just isn't useful. Like, I spoke to the guy who tattooed me and I asked, if he lives in London. I asked him because I was very curious. I asked him, what is it like living in London? He said it's very hectic. It's sometimes pretty shit. It's stressful. And that's the one thing I really noticed instantly in London. People mind their own business. People don't have time for bullshit. And I also kind of feel like maybe this is just me talking rubbish, but I feel like the dating life in London might be quite hard compared to different places. Because of the fact that people are just like NYC, minding their business the entire time. They gotta get to their job. But again, it could just be me talking absolute bullshit. I do find, however, that London is a phenomenal place to meet up with people and to make friends because there's really no excuse if you say, oh man, there's nothing to do in London. You're literally paying because it's London. And the guy that tattooed my arm, he also told me you've got like 6 zones in London. Zone 2 and Zone 1 is like the places that you pay the most council tax and everything. Because you pay council tax, you pay not state tax, sorry. You pay all these other weird taxes. He also told me that if you enter certain places within London, you have to pay like a fee to enter an area. I was like, that is so weird. Like in Amsterdam, I told him we have certain places off limit to cars. Some diesels aren't allowed from certain building years, but you don't have to pay to enter places. We pay road tax and all that shit for us to be able to use the roads as much as possible. In London, it's very the opposite, which was really interesting to hear. Would I go back is the question. Yes, I would. I would go back. But again, only because there's a lot of stuff to do there. And I know some people that live there in London. But again, I don't want to live there. No, I felt quite unsafe in certain areas. Because that's one thing a lot of you told me as well. Like, man, do not walk around with this camera. It's going to get stolen. It's funny when me and Dante went to the rock climbing thing. There were these 2 guys up ahead, and I had my camera in my hand. I had that thing clutched like fucking gorilla grip. And with these 2 dudes on these this electric bikes, like these super fast ones that are like motorized. You don't have to pedal. With balaclavas on. I told him instantly, I said, bro, I gotta hide my camera ASAP. Like that scared the crap out of me. It's stuff like that that makes me feel really unsafe in places. Because even SA doesn't have that. But there's a reason why SA doesn't have that. They don't have the money to be able to afford a bicycle like that. That's pretty much the only reason. And because SA is so poos big, bro. There's no point in a bicycle there. It's fucking... You'll get caught so quickly because the suburbs are so massive, bro. Like, yeah, why am I comparing it to South Africa? Because I find it a very similar comparison. What place is more safe, London or George? George, bro. 100%. South Africa, George. 100%, bro. Yes, because it's bigger. But it's both places I wouldn't want to live. But at the end of the day, I don't want to be too negative about London. I had a very nice time. It's just unfortunate that in certain places that I felt unsafe. And it's also got to do with the fact that the amount of homeless you guys got in London is really scary, bro. And they're off drugs, most of them. Not all, though. Because some of them I spoke to as well. Lost their house, lost their job, and it's like, damn, that's tough. a lot of them were users, and it was very obvious. And it's quite sad because at the end of the day, you have to realize this is someone's child at the end of the day. I don't look at, oh, they're just homeless. It's like, it's fucked up. This is someone's kid at the end of the day, regardless of their age, regardless of the situation. You don't want anyone to be in a situation like that. Now, obviously, Dante had a very different perspective about it. He felt very sad for them. I said, dude, I get what you're coming from, but you don't have to feel bad. A lot of these people on the streets that use drugs choose to stay on the streets. They don't want to change their life. They cannot simply change their life because the drugs have taken them over. They've taken over their souls, bro. They cannot go back. And yeah, obviously we had an English breakfast. It was really good. Yeah, English breakfast was great. This was actually, believe it or not, funny thing, the first traditional English breakfast I've ever had, except for my grandmother making it. Yeah, that's quite bizarre. But for the rest, it was okay. Like, a lot of you, like, again, told me about certain areas to stay out of. We went to those areas. Nothing happened. I think it's also got to do with the fact that we were walking with groups most of the time, like random people. But it could just maybe me. But yeah, London is good to go as a tourist. Just be very careful. Because it's funny because a lot of people walk in certain areas with Rolexes on, designer stuff. And it's like, it's the Asian that do it a lot, bro. I noticed that the first thing, like, all the Asian people wearing their Rolexes, wearing the LV, it's like, do you, like, okay, like, that's quite bizarre. Do your thing, but don't be crying when you get robbed because you got your Rolex or Patek Philippe on. Yeah, I saw some people with Richard Milles as well. It's like, that's crazy. Like, some people just don't give a flying fuck. Really, they don't. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed it somewhat. What do you think of London? Have you ever been to the UK? Like, the country itself, like, London speaks for the entire country. That's the vague thing. It really does, because a lot of places in the UK look just like London. Culture-wise, activity-wise, accessibility-wise, transportation-wise, economically, England hasn't been doing really that good. You should watch a video on YouTube. I forgot what it's called, but it's a very short title, pretty much talking about about the UK for an hour straight. You only have to watch 20 seconds of the video to really understand why the country is falling downwards, or has been for a while. But anyways, hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time. And I'm not sitting here saying that Amsterdam in the Netherlands is a fucking 10 out of 10. No, don't get it twisted, bro. Don't get it twisted. But London was not what I expected it to be. The last time I visited, I was a kid. So obviously, as a kid, I have a whole different perspective of what I think of places. But as a grown-up, you're like, it's very different than being as a child. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.